Hi guys, so I want to tell you about my theory, which is mirror politics, and I want to mainstream it someday into the hypothesis and the theory of political science 101 in days to come. But before I get there, let me quickly just finish and wrap up on the element of history repeating itself in the Kenyan context. So I want to talk about Uhuru Kenyatta, the man. I've told you that the men to discuss about the political discourse in the country right now is Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and William Ruto. So I've discussed Raila Odinga. Uhuru Kenyatta. I want to take you back to 1997 and give you the IPPG. The IPPG deal and agreement was kind of a constitutional amendment which was supposed to level the playing field in the political landscape. It is the opposition who had been fighting. It is the likes of Timothy Njoya, the Fungamano Initiative, putting a brave fight to be able to oust Moi and to turn down dictatorship and his resistance through multi-party democracy. But finally, they managed to hammer a deal. What deal was that? It was the IPPG agreement, which was a faith-led initiative, and it bore fruit. It brought on board some level playing field, for example, allowing multi-party democracy, allowing the appointment of the commissioners to oversee the elections being appointed by political parties who are the players at the time. However, President Moi had a catch that worked in his favor. In that IPPG was also agreed the element of the 10-year limit. The term limits to presidential candidates. You can only run 2 terms as a president. Now, Moi said, yes, I'll give you that. I'll give you this. I'll give you that. I'll give you the other one. And I will allow term limits to happen. However, the term limits are going to happen starting now, going into the future. That was 1997. I want to surprise you that after Moi agreed to all these things and a new set of term limits came into place, he actually benefited from the term limit because he was elected in 1992 and he was elected in 1997. He beat the opposition. Whether there were court cases to dispute those elections or not, it really doesn't matter. The man ran his 2 terms based on the IPPG agreement. Now, I want to mirror that for you, and I want to bring you fast forward that the IPPG deal is BBI. And BBI is a situation where history will repeat itself and Uhuru Kenyatta is going to say it is okay, let it be so. However, it begins now. So there is the element, what will happen to BBI? I cannot postulate which way it will go. I can only wait because it's a matter in court already. And on the 20th of August, not too long from now, just a week from now, we will know the fate of the BBI from the Court of Appeal. The only thing I can hypothesize for sure is that the position which will be taken by the Court of Appeal is the same position that will be taken by the Supreme Court. So if the Court of Appeal allows BBI to proceed in its current form or with a few adjustments, then take it to the bank that what's going to happen is that the Court of Appeal will uphold that because that will be too close to the election and they may not want to disrupt the status quo because that disruption will significantly and automatically affect the preparedness of the IEBC to run a general and a presidential election. So that's the only thing that I can say, that whatever the appeals court will uphold, it is the same position that the Supreme Court is going to uphold. However, the Court of Appeal could actually spin these any direction. They could say that BBI will not take place. If BBI will not take place, then what's going to happen is that President Kenyatta is going to remain in the equation by taking over the Mount Kenya political constituency, bringing up its party, the Jubilee Party, into a coalition with ODM. And I've already written about this before it's documented on paper and signed. And he will take this coalition into power in such a way that he will still call political shots even in retirement. He will still run the Jubilee Party and he will still have a say and a stake because political parties have now been entrenched. They have been strengthened in such a way as the South African model, where we have seen practically twice Thabo Mbeki was recalled by his political party as president. We have seen that Jacob Zuma was actually recalled by his political party as president. And so I see a scenario where the political party maturity and establishment in Kenya is getting to that level South Africa, where the party itself and the person who wields the power in the party politics actually wields political power that runs the country. And Jubilee is gonna be that machinery that Uhuru will put together and still run the party politics going forward. And because it will be in coalition with ODM, they are willing to support Raila to play a certain card that I'll be talking about later. Now, if BBI shall be allowed to proceed, take it to the bank, Uhuru Kenyatta will do what I've just explained as the leader of Jubilee and probably the leader of the coalition which he's trying to put together. You can see the people are wondering what's really happening here. But what Uhuru Kenyatta is now doing, he is trying to do two things. Number one, he's trying to survive his remaining year. So he needs allies. He needs Raila Odinga. He needs Mudavadi. He needs Kalonzo. He needs Wetangula. He needs Gideon Moi to be able to survive because William Ruto has run away with a chunk of his political mass. And he is trying to survive. But in addition to that, he is trying to cut and to chart a new path for himself, like Moi charted a new path for himself in 1997. So if BBI shall be allowed to proceed, what will then happen is that all Uhuru Kenyatta needs to be is to be the captain of this coalition that he is trying to put together. And after he has put together this particular coalition, he will end up being the prime minister without having to declare, without having to say it now. All he needs to do is to be the captain of that coalition and make sure Raila ascends to presidency, and he will be head of state, and then Uhuru Kenyatta with his coalition will be head of government as prime minister. Take that to the bank.